Going on, Hoops fans? It's your boy Brian here with another edition of Hoops Haven TV. The season's in full swing. We had some great games last night on TNT. Today, we're going to review those games and talk about how the players did and talk about how we think they're going to fare this season. So, starting off with the first game, we're going to go ahead and talk about, Denver and the Lakers. Obviously, it was a ring ceremony last night. Denver got their rings, rose the banner up in the air. It was just great to see. I've always been a fan of the Denver franchise, like the Carmelo days and, Jokic and Murray, probably my favorite duo right now in the league. So it was just great to see those guys get their ring last season and, win a championship last season and get their rings last night. And, they played well opening, the game. Obviously they're off that high from getting their championship ring and seeing that banner raised. AD and Jokic were going at it. I mean, AD was a monster in the first half. He had 17 points in the first half. Looked like he was going to dominate the rest of the way, but he had a trash second half. Didn't score a single point. Ended the game 6 of 17. LeBron played pretty well. Had 21 points, efficient night, 62% from the field, 1 of 4 from 3-point line. But also Jamal Murray looked pretty good as well. 61% from the field at 21 points to finish the game. Denver looks good. I don't really expect them to win it all this year, just because some other teams got better in the NBA, like the Bucks and the Celtics, and Phoenix made some moves, but I mean, I know it's only one game, but just kind of looking at them yesterday, they look like they really haven't missed a beat. As far as the way they match up with the Lakers, I think they're just overall just a better team. Lakers play them pretty well. The games are usually close, but at the end of the day, like when it comes to clutch time, they just figure out a way to just close the Lakers out. So they're just flat out a better team than the Lakers. So even though I think the other teams that made changes have the edge over them, I wouldn't be shocked at all if they ended up in the finals again and, for the first seed in the West again, because they look really good. Jokic had a triple double. Like I said yesterday, arguably the best player in the league right now. Really dominant big man. I mean, when you think of dominance, you think of like Shaq and Will Chamberlain just being freaks of nature, just unstoppable forces in the paint. But what Jokic does is just being able to, score, post up, face up, shoot the three. He's going to give you 12, 13, 14 rebounds, going to give you 10 assists. I mean, as a big man last season, he almost averaged a triple double. So, he's just amazing player. He's a beast, man. There's not much more I could say about Jokic. I mean, that man is just a beast. Um, and Jamal Murray, I just think they're probably the best duo right now in the league. That's just my opinion. I mean, you look at those two, like they've obviously have great chemistry. They've been playing with each other for years. They play great off of each other. Jamal Murray is more of a scoring guard, not much of a traditional point guard like a Rondo or players like of that ilk. But you know, you don't really need him to do that because obviously you have Jokic who makes everyone better, greatest passing big man of all time. So Denver, they're still going to be great. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with out west. Lakers, I mean, they're only going to go as far as AD takes them, and I'm not confident AD can take them far. I was really disappointed in that second half. Just yesterday was just a typical AD game. I mean, that's what you expect to see from AD, unfortunately. I mean, he has his highs, he has his lows, just inconsistent. I just don't think he's a number one option on a championship team. I think he's best suited for a number two option. When he's on point, he's a top 10 player in the NBA, but it's just the inconsistencies, the injuries, there's just something about him. He just doesn't have that it factor to be the number one option on the championship team. The consistency, doesn't have the clutchness. You look at his career prior to being with the Lakers and being with LeBron, he didn't really have much success, although immensely talented, but just doesn't. He's not a number one option on a championship team. So LeBron obviously still looks good. Still a beast even at his late stage of his career, but he can't really put the team on his back and carry them like he was able to in the past with past teams when he was in his prime. So it's going to be tough for them to win it all. I thought they had a legit chance to go to the finals a couple of months ago when I was, just looking at the landscape of the NBA. But I know it's just one game, but I don't know how that's gonna look. I expect more from AD. Hopefully he bounces back the next game, but if he continues to underwhelm like that, they'll still be a playoff team, but I just can't take them seriously as a championship team. So, but that was, a great game. Denver looked really well. They won the game 119 to 107. So congrats to Denver again, getting their rings, putting the banner up. Game two, we had Phoenix and you had Golden State Warriors. Phoenix won 108 to 104. Obviously Devin Booker, if you watch the game, he had a great game, went off. They didn't have Bradley Beal. He's due to injury. He's just precaution measures. He's rested and staying in play. So I know the NBA is trying to focus on getting guys to play a full 82 game season. They got this little tournament going, so to kind of make regular season games more competitive and things like that. But I think the season's just way too long. Guys just want to rest up, don't want to have a lot of mileage and wear and tear on their bodies, so they're just going to take rest. And it is what it is. I don't think you can really stop that unless you shorten the season or something like that. That's really all you can do. Obviously you don't have situations like that in football because it's a short season there, short season, and every game matters as opposed to the NBA where it's an 82 game season. You don't not every game really matters, unfortunately. So, but nonetheless, like I said, Devin Booker, he played really well in yesterday's game, led them in scoring. He looked really good. I mean, offensively, when KD, Book, and Beal have it all going, they're going to be a problem. They're going to be hard to stop. I mean, Booker had 32 points last night, shot 61% in the field, 37% from the 3-point line. He led them in scoring. Like I said, best player on the court yesterday. Unfortunately, KD, we didn't really have an efficient game yesterday. Only finished with 18, 31% from the field. But KD will be fine. I mean, he's one of the most efficient players in NBA history, efficient scorers, I should say, in NBA history. He's a beast. I'm not really worried about him. But like I said, once all three of those guys are on the court together and they're clicking, they're going to be fine offensively. Defensively, we'll see where they're at with that. With the Warriors, I'm worried for the Warriors, honestly. Looking at their team, Clay he hasn't looked the same the past few years. He had a really inefficient night. Curry did as well. Chris Paul played horribly. Well, offensively, shot horribly. I mean, he was 4 15, 26% from the field. Yeah, 14 points, but really inefficient. But he threw in 9 assists and 6 rebounds. So I guess, that helped. But and it was a close game, at the end. But at the end of the day, Chris Paul started because Draymond was out. But I think Chris Paul is a serviceable backup right now, and that's rare. He really is at this point of his career. Legendary player, top 75 player. So no knock against him, but it's just he's not prime CP3 anymore. Um, all three of their big guns, I guess you could say CP3, Clay, and Curry had an off night, and unfortunately for them, they lost. I think it's going to be a long season for them. I know they got Wiggins back, um, and they got Kevin Looney, but I just feel like it's going to be a long season. That bench is kind of iffy, although, Kuminga looked pretty good yesterday, and Moody, there's some of the young guys, but I just feel like a couple years ago when they won the chip, I didn't agree with them kind of letting the vets go and just trying to supplement them with the young guys. I just don't. Obviously, it hasn't worked. Clay isn't what he was the past few years ago, so I don't really see them being. I think their championship window is pretty much just closed at this point. I don't see them winning it all. Curry's still going to be a top 5 player in the NBA this season. I'm not worried about that. But it's the supporting cast. They obviously have a lot of wear and tear, mileage on their bodies too, going to the finals all those years and deep playoff runs. So, it's no surprise that, unfortunately for them, that they're, just their championship window is just closed. That's pretty much it for them. Yeah, man. But like I said, it's the NBA season's in full swing. Basketball is back. We got some more games tonight. So tomorrow I'll be back on with you guys, just talking about the games and talking about what's going on in the NBA. Real quick before you head out, obviously James Harden, he came back. Sixers sent him home packing. What do you guys think of that whole situation? Is Philly doomed? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But as always, stay blessed, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.